All right. Hello, everybody. Hope you all are doing well. This is DFS Army's NBA pre-lock show. We have two guests today. Two goats, honestly. We have our guy Madness, who hooked us up last Monday, gave people some awesome play calls, and then y'all know B-Dubs, man. Like, he's been here for a while. Gives us the great leverage plays, but also just great DFS strategy in general. Last night was good for me, but I know it was rough for a lot of people. So I'll touch on this briefly. Our guy, Aerosalt, had a $5,000 win last night. Wanted to shout you out, man. That was freaking awesome to see. But, guys, yesterday is in the past. Today, we have a nice 5-game slate on deck. Madness, you were talking about, you like this slate a good bit, right?
I like it. I don't
it?
love when we get 13, 14, 15 games. I mean, DraftKings has been good about that this season, just taking those night games off. But we get some night action here, too. A couple of gross games, but the gross games are friendly for DFS. So
yeah, it's a healthy balance. Healthy balance. Brandon, what about you? How are you feeling about this slate? 5-gamer.
I like the number of games, but the actual games and the players we're going to have to stomach tonight, I'm not feeling as good about that, to be honest.
Yeah, we don't have the Hornets on the slate. I just like having the Hornets because then you can just play whoever against them. But slate locks at 7:30 today, guys. We have a little bit of time. We'll go game by game. We'll answer your questions. If I don't get to your question right when you ask it, we'll touch on it towards the end of the show as well. So breathe a little easy. We're going to go slow here. In the chat, I want to call y'all out. Appreciate the support. Cujo, JP, Stephen B, Octavius, Airborne, Craig. We'll get to your question, Craig. Cedric, Danny, OG, what's up, man? Good to see you. Wagwan, haven't said that in a minute, Kevin. Good to see you, man. And I see your questions. We will get to them. We don't talk about Holland anymore, so we're going to leave that in the past. Next up, we'll get to these games. Starting off, and just so you all know, I'm sharing my screen today, and I'll go ahead and do a little bit of a rant here. I always recommend people to follow along with what we're doing. You don't need to copy exactly what Brandon and I are doing when we share our screen, but it just kind of gives you an idea of some potential changes you can make to your DS. If you are not a DFS Army member, link is in the description. Use promo code MADNESS for a 10% discount. And right, that's your code, Madness? Or did I make that up?
I got a couple of them. That one works.
Is it just mad? Like, I don't know. But yeah, promo code Madness for 10% discount. Or B-Dub, B-D-U-B-B, if you like him more. Support whoever you want to. But all right, we'll finally get to these games. Starting off, we have the Raptors going up against the Nets. Pretty wide spread here at 10 points, but that's a common trend on this slate. Decent total at 233. Brandon, man, I'll start with you. What's your strategy here?
Before I do talk about this team, I just wanted to mention for the FanDuel players out there, some of you probably already know, but for those who don't, FanDuel itself, the website's having issues with mass multi-entry. So if you're doing 150, I know a lot of players are saying that you're getting an error message when you do that. Some have had success breaking it down to as low as 15 per upload, which will suck, but that seems like the only fix around it for now, and I don't think there's an ETA for FanDuel to get that fix. So just wanted to throw that disclaimer out there for those who are playing over there.
Good old FanDuel.
Yeah.
Love it.
And not to pour salt in the wound, but just yet another reason why I stick to DraftKings mainly.
Yep. Hard to argue with that one. For the Raptors tonight, though, Agbaji is out, and then Sandro's questionable, but that doesn't move the needle too much for me. What are you doing here, Brandon?
Yeah, so I love playing guys against this Brooklyn team. They're one of the worst in the league. They're currently, I think they only have one win now. They're like 1-9 or something like that. So the blowout risk is real here. They're not good, but we say it all the time, we don't really play for blowouts. So in this kind of spot, I pretty much just want to focus on all the main guys here. So pretty much matching the field on Quickly, Barnes, Ingram, and Barrett. I typically lean Barnes when I'm trying to pick between him, Ingram, and Barrett, just due to him having higher upside and quickly, as long as his matchup is good and he stays in this 6K range, I never mind taking a shot on him too. So I'd say quickly and Barnes are my favorite two here, but I will have some shares of Ingram and Barrett as well.
Yeah. Man, does anyone stand out for you here, or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, mainly quickly for me. His minutes have come up, so he's seen 34, 36 minutes over his last 2 games. Like B-Dub said, elite matchup here against the Nets. The production's been good. Otherwise, so quickly is the easiest to get to for me. Barnes and Ingram both make sense. Barrett makes a little sense too. We do get Sandro Mamukelashvili. Easy for me to say. He's out.
That was good.
So maybe a few more minutes for Pirtle. I know they're careful with his minutes. And then maybe some Murray Boyles at the backup 5, but his price is too high to play anyway. So really quickly in a heavy way, and then, mixing in Barnes, Ingram, and Barrett.
Man, Jakob Poeltl, that was my guy a couple years back. I thought about going back today, but the minutes just haven't been there. My strategy here, I put a 25% min on Scotty Barnes. Like you guys said, he's going to be the foundation for things here for me. I have a 10% min on Brandon Ingram. I think that's close enough to field weight exposure for me. 20% min on RJ Barrett, so I'll be slightly over there. And then I have a 20% min on Emmanuel Quickly. I think our ownership's a little high on that. I think it'll be a little bit lower, so 20 is what I'm expecting to be closer to field weight exposure. And then we moved on. Let me double check and see if anyone else shows up here. Nope. Those mins are pretty much exactly what I'm getting. 1% Jamal Sheed, but I don't think that's going to be too big of a deal for me. Next up, we have the Brooklyn Nets. Cam Thomas is out, so that is what makes all of these Nets more viable, because all he does is take shots all day, every day, and he's been pretty good at that. Day'Ron Sharpe is out. He's still battling that injury. That's why you're hearing people talk a little bit about guys like Williams and Wolf. And then Highsmith has been out. Madness, what are you doing with the Nets?
Going to have a bunch of Michael Porter Jr., as uncomfortable as that is. Without Cam Thomas, there's just no other pure playmakers and scorers in this offense. They're running a lot through Nick Claxton since Cam Thomas went down. So I think Claxton looks really good. And then Noah Clowney, he's probably going to start at the 4 without Day'Ron Sharpe. Should see some backup 5 run as well. Don't hate him in the mid-range. Those are really the main 3 for me. I don't need to be burning money with Danny Wolf, to be honest.
Yeah, it's getting a little thin there. What about you, Brandon? Any plays that you feel like weren't touched on, or anyone that you really want to make sure you have exposure to?
Yeah, pretty much the same for me. MPJ is the guy here. That's probably one smart thing this team has done so far, is looking like they won the trade between him and Cam with Denver. So he's been very solid so far this season. So like him quite a bit. I had more right now. He's at 44%, but he's kind of bouncing around that in 60%. So potentially a core play for me tonight. Clowney, I never feel good about playing him, but with the lack of value we have tonight, he's just kind of going to be in that mix with the amount of minutes he sees, and still a decent price too, and will definitely help him with Sharpe out too. He'll probably soak up a few more of his minutes, so I think he is viable. And then Claxton, like Madness said, love the way they're utilizing him on his team, and 6,400 is still a great price for him. So I have a 20% min on him just to make sure he doesn't go any lower than that.
Yeah, that's my new rule of thumb, especially after last night when I did a run and I saw Cade fall. I had to put a 25% min on him. I'm just like, let me just make sure I'm putting mins on guys just to kind of make sure I don't lose track of them as we get more news. But I have a 30% min on Michael Porter Jr., but he's showing up more than that. I have a 30% min on Nick Claxton, technically a leverage play. I'll probably solidify that and just make him one, like you guys have said, just a great matchup for him here. Clowney, I have a 10% min on. I like the spot for him, and he's only showing up in exactly 10% of my lineups. I thought about increasing that, but I think there's just a lot of strong center plays on the slate, and so especially once we get closer to like that Jazz game, I'm comfortable with roughly 10-15% here, so I'm not going to over force exposure. And then Zaire Williams is someone that is a gross play, but I think I said it on the last show we were on together, Madness. I just think Zaire's like their second or third best player, and with Cam Thomas out, he should be able to score all day, every day. And if the game blows out, he should be able to see a little bit more run here too. So we'll see what happens. But 10% min there just to make sure he's in the mix. Next up, we have the Memphis Grizzlies going up against the Knicks. Another wide spread here, but highest total game on the slate. Memphis hasn't been a team you can trust too much, but once again, they still have a decent amount of guys out, but no new injuries that are really worth highlighting here. Brandon, what are you doing here with Memphis? Do you like these guys at all?
Not really. Only one guy in particular. I always considered Ja, but outside of a couple games, I think he put up like a couple 50-point performances. But outside of that, he really hasn't been that good. I didn't know he was shooting this bad, but I was just curious what his percentages were. And I think it was like 35% from the field and only shooting like 13 or 14% from the three. So this dude is just, I don't know what's going on with Ja right now, but he's definitely going to be somebody I'm under at if this ownership sticks around 20%. So I think my last run I was only at 1%. So definitely fine with that. I do like Cedric Coward quite a bit, though. He will be a leverage play for me. I have a 20% min. This dude, he's just been super consistent, has put up multiple 40 fantasy point games. Still fairly cheap for how he's playing. So getting as much run as he can handle. So just going to continue to target him with the way he's playing. And then I'm going back and forth on Aldama. We've seen him have some decent upside in the past too, and I do like his price. He might be somebody I want to throw in the mix as well. Outside of those two, can't really get to anyone else. I'll throw Jaren Jackson in the same bucket with Ja. He just looks like trash so far this season. So 7,500 is starting to get tempting for him for how we know he can play, but we just haven't seen it yet this season. So he's pretty much a fade for me until we see otherwise.
So Brandon, like Aldama or not? Like, are you gonna put a min on him, or are you?
I'll put a 15% min on Aldama. Yeah.
Man, okay, 15. I think I'll do 10 because I didn't give him too much thought, but I think you're right. It makes sense. This is the highest total game, so I'm not really trying to avoid this spot. The totals keep moving like every time I look at it. Like, it's kind of crazy. But Madness, what about you? Who's really who are you highlighting from this game?
Yeah, I like the shout on Cedric Coward. The dude he's putting up numbers and the minutes just keep going up. He's playing around 30 minutes over the last 5-6 games. That at this price tag, I'm just gonna like it. He's not afraid to shoot either. He's filling up the ancillary stats too. Rebounds, assists. Love that type of play. Ja Morant, 3 for 18 from the field is tough to stomach. It was against OKC, so I'll cut him a break there. I mean, New York's they're one of the best teams in the East. So, I mean, they're not getting any kind of break here either. So, I do like the price on Ja Morant. That's the one thing that'll get me there. Nice ceiling at that price tag. And then I do like the Aldama shout too. Off the bench, similar to Coward, playing 28, 30 minutes per night. And we know Jaren Jackson can be handsy. So if Cat's strolling down the lane, given his flails as he does, or Jalen Brunson, we know he's one of the best floppers in the league. So Aldama could see some extra run here if Jackson gets himself into foul trouble.
Yeah, I like it. I'm just doing a double check to make sure that Memphis isn't showing up any more than I have it. But Chalky Ja, I cannot do. If he goes off, he goes off. That's just going to be the way it is. But if he was low owned, I was going to take this shot all day, every day. But chalky, mentally unstable man, like I just can't do that. Not this night. Similar situation with Ja. I just worry, or with JJJ, I'm just worried about foul trouble. I had a 10% min on Coward, and I thought I was feeling pretty strong about that. But you making him a leverage play, Brandon, definitely gives me a little bit more interest. But I'm just going to keep the 10% min on him for now. And Santi Aldama, I have a 10% min on as well, but that's me following you, Brandon. I wasn't really on him beforehand.
If it makes you feel better, Sim Model agrees as well.
With Aldama?
Cedric.
Oh, yeah. No, I liked Cedric already. I just didn't have him as a leverage play. So, I just didn't put my chest into it. I was just like, okay, I'm just going to have some exposure, keep it light. But I like it. I love the stands. Next up, we have the Knicks side of this game where the matchup just looks fantastic for absolutely everybody here. Mitchell Robinson is questionable. That news does matter. I don't think we've gotten any updates on that. Have you seen anything, Madness?
No, nothing yet.
I think he's out.
Did we get that?
Yeah, we got
that. We got that right towards the start of the show. Okay. Right. Well, and thankfully the DS looks like has already updated that as well. Who do you like here, Madness?
Yeah, I mean it's a great matchup. I just struggle with this team when their main guys are healthy. So Anunoby, Towns, Brunson, Hart, Bridges, even McBride. But Robinson being out does increase my interest in Karl Anthony Towns. I like him a lot better when he's playing the 5, and it should get him away from Jaren Jackson at least a little bit. Yep. So I do like Cat here in this matchup. Good with whatever OG I land on. He's projecting as the highest owned right now. He's just been solid all season. And then probably just Jalen Brunson as the third guy. I'm always just going to have a little Brunson. The dude has a massive ceiling. When he's cooking, he's hard to stop. So interested in Towns, and then I'm good with whatever I land on with OG and Brunson given the matchup.
Yeah, no, I get it. I like seeing the Knicks on smaller slates because then I'm more comfortable having exposure to a wider variety. Brandon, any of these guys stand out for you, or any potential leverage plays maybe?
No leverage plays really. I do like OG quite a bit. I mean, I mention him almost every time he's on the slate.
He's been your guy.
Yeah, he is just consistent. He is sticking around the same price. This mid 6K range. He puts up around 40 points almost every game. So I have a 25% min, and I'm getting about 30% currently. So definitely like him quite a bit. I put a 20% min on Cat and 10% min on Brunson. I do like Cat a bit more in this spot, but we know Brunson, when he's on. And with it being a smaller slate, I just want to make sure I have some exposure there. And then I even took a shot on Josh Hart. He makes me feel a bit uneasier than the other guys here, but outside of last game, he's been putting up around 30 fantasy points, and he's still priced nicely at 5.4K. And definitely like him even more with Mitch ruled out. So wanted to take a shot there. And then Bridges hasn't been as good. I might just throw a 5% min on him just because we know he can go off at any moment too. But again, just hasn't been as consistent as some of these other guys on the team.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, this is just a team I want to focus on. I didn't have the Mitchell Robinson news before we kicked off the show, and that does impact things for me. I had a 20% min on Brunson, making him a leverage play for me on this slate, and a lot of that was because I saw JJJ being on Cat a bit more, and JJJ, Jaren Jackson Jr., is a above average, pretty good defender. And so I just saw things being much easier for Brunson and OG. And so that was my thought process there. But with Cat being at the 5, I like it a lot more. So I'm willing to kind of boost that up to 30%. I don't know where his ownership is going to fall, so that might end up going higher, maybe a little bit lower. But I will be above the field on Cat no matter what. And then Brunson still looking like a leverage play for me. I'm going to keep the 20% min. OG I have a 15% min on, so close to field weight exposure. We'll see where his ownership falls. Bridges I have a 10% min on. I'm playing all of these starters. I just want exposure, especially when it comes to OG and Bridges. I don't have a strong preference, but Josh Hart I do want to be over the field on, and with Mitchell Robinson out, I just see them needing him a little bit more. I had a 15% min. I think that should still be enough. I was contemplating making him a leverage play because I do really like Josh Hart in this spot. Matchup is just so soft, and like you said, Brandon, outside of the last matchup or last game, he's been pretty solid this season. And at 5,400, he's just a little too cheap for me. I'm going to keep the 15% min for now, but I'm really close to upping it to 20%. Dixon, nice, man. When we get to that game, we'll definitely talk about Keontae George a bit more. Let's see here. Next up, we have the closest spread on the slate. Celtics versus the 76ers. Decent total, too, at 231.5. When it comes to injuries for Boston, there's not a lot to discuss here. Everyone's pretty much healthy outside of the obvious injury. Tatum, who's been out for a while. Brandon, do you like the Celtics as much as I do, or am I just losing it?
A few guys. I won't say I like everybody. I'll start with Jalen, just for obvious reasons. He is the guy on this team this season with Tatum out, and I do like his price still at 8,500. And I mentioned it quite a bit in the past, but I love games against Philly. I just feel like teams who play them, it just is a high scoring, fast-paced game, so I definitely like Jalen quite a bit tonight. Pritchard, I didn't do anything special with him. He's been pretty average so far this season, and we haven't seen him have like any breakout games like we did last year. So actually, he's at 32%, so a little above the field. Not a huge fan of that with how he's been playing, but he just makes lines work at 6,100 and a good spot as well. Simons, I did force in, which Madness, I'll give you a shout out because you were all over him as a core play last time they played, but
okay.
I definitely still like him at 4,500. He's just a scorer, and I like this environment, like I mentioned before. So 20% min there, and is another leverage play for me. Derek White, he was showing a little bit, but he fell all the way to 1%, which I'm fine. Just another guy who's been disappointed so far this season. I was expecting him to step up a bit more than what he is now with Tatum out, but we just haven't really seen it yet. And then who else am I getting? I have Kata at 26%. No strong feelings there. He's just another value play who makes sense on this slate at 4,800 and 1%. Josh, that's pretty much it for me.
Got it. And Jesse and JP3 or JP83, I see both of your questions. We'll get to them towards the end. Madness, what are your thoughts here with Boston?
Yeah, I love the matchup. Like B-Dub said, this Sixers team they're playing fast and they're not playing a whole lot of defense. So
yep.
Jaylen Brown looks good. They're leading the team in usage. We know the ceiling's there. I'm kind of good with whatever I land on with Pritchard and Derek White. We kind of know what we're getting from them at this point. Yep. I've kind of forced Derek White all season, and I'm just kind of good with whatever. I do like going back to Mr. Anthony Simons. Did me well on Sunday. So, I mean, I don't expect him to shoot lights out like he did, but he's a raw scorer. We've seen it in Portland. The dude can put up numbers, and at 4,500 in this matchup, I'm slapping a love on him in the DS. If he gets hot from the field, can run himself into more minutes, but we've seen him play 30, 32 minutes this season and put up good numbers. So at this price tag, I love Anthony Simons.
Yeah, agreed. I'm with y'all here. As you all can see, I have a 30% min on Jaylen Brown. I'm just not going to question that. Just want to be close to field weight exposure. Peyton Pritchard has put a 30% min on as well. Derek White's just not a priority for me at this price tag. If he shows up, let's see if he shows up. Derek White. He shows up in 5% of my lineup. So if he goes off, I hope I'm lucky tonight. But I'm not going to make him a priority. I just think he's not as involved offensively as I would like for him to be. 30% min on Pritchard. Simons is a leverage play for me tonight. We talked about it in the preseason. We knew this was going to come. He just had a little bit of a slow start. He's a volatile player, though. So he's not someone I would say like you can trust because his minutes have been all over the place this season. But at 4,500, he's a little bit too cheap for the upside he has in a fast-paced, close environment. You can make the same case for Josh Minott. His minutes have been everywhere. but he's also technically a leverage play for me on this slate too. I have a 20% min on him. Just someone I want to make a priority. These cheap guys, they're not going to be core plays for me, but they're guys I just like to have in the mix. And two guys that have shown plenty of upside are usually going to make that list for me. Let's see. And then there aren't any other. Oh, yeah. Kata is showing up in 13% of my lineups. I didn't do anything to him in the DS. I kind of view him like Derek White. However much he shows up, I'll just trust Jesus on that one. Next up, we have the 76ers. I like this side, maybe even more than the Celtics side. Like we said, it's just a fun game to really focus on. News here is Joel Embiid is out. And so that definitely made these guys a little bit more interesting for me, at least. But Madness, what do you think?
Yeah, I like the Sixers. It looks like Andre Drummond has passed Adembona as the backup 5. So expect Drummond to start here. We know he's a good point per minute guy. He always has been. So going to get a bunch of Andre Drummond. Expect him to start. The matchup's great. I've been streaming centers against this Boston front line all season. That won't stop tonight. So legit 10x upside for Andre Drummond. It's being hopeful, but that's what we do around here. Trendon Watford, chalk last time out, coming off a 60-point game, and then he went out and dudded. So I think that's suppressing his ownership. Still drawing about 20-ish%.
Yeah.
But I like going overweight on that without Embiid. I think they're still without Barlow. Yeah, they're still without Barlow. So the minutes are going to be there for him. And we know he can produce. I mean, we've seen it. He's going to be volatile. So you kind of comes with the company there, but I do like going overweight on Watford and then Tyrese Maxey. The dude's just balling this season. So whatever I land on with Max, we don't have a ton of spend ups on this slate either. Exactly. We got SGA, we got Brunson. I don't consider Moran a spend up, but Maxey looks like one of the better spend ups on the slate. So those are the main 3 for me.
With you. B-Dubs, what about you, man?
Yeah, I think this is definitely a smash spot for Drummond. Usually in the past, like when I've ever said anything bad about Drummond, it was just because the uncertainty of his minutes when back when he was playing below 20 or lower. Like it was just hard to trust him. But I mean, we saw it last game. He played I think like 35 minutes or close to it. And he smashed. So if I know he's going to see 30 minutes again, which, like Matt said, it looks like they are kind of giving up on the Bona experiment, starting him at center. I'm all over Drummond tonight at this price, so definitely love him. Wofford is Wofford. Nothing special there. Again, another cheaper guy in the mix who should see a ton of minutes, but definitely not somebody I trust. I currently have him at 35%, so
nice.
I'm okay with that, I suppose. And then 15% on Maxey. He's playing MVP level basketball right now, so it's just hard not to continue to play him, especially in a matchup like this where I think it could pop off big time. So that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah, I like this team. This is the team I want to focus on. Maxey, I'm with y'all. 15% men all day, every day. Just see if he does what he's been doing all year. I don't think Embiid really hurts him too much, so I was honestly going to do this either way, but he's even more involved without Embiid. VJ Edgecombe, I have a 10% min on. Technically a leverage play for me in this spot. He's been better without Embiid than with Embiid on the floor, but he has had some shooting regression over the last couple of games. But again, this is a close game. I wanted to stay competitive. These guys play fast. And so I want to be over the field on someone who has shown upside, even if it's been a little bit. Kelly O, Rupert, I see you, man. I have a 10% min on him, just matching field weight exposure. He's a little pricey, so we're not getting a discount here or anything. Similar story with Grimes. These guys are the offense. They see a shit ton of minutes. I just want exposure to these guys. I don't want to be on the outside looking in when they're in a pretty solid spot. So 10% min on Grimes. And then Drummond is showing up in 63% of my lineups right now. I'll continue to rerun, but I expect him to be a core play tonight. I thought about capping him, but like you all said, assuming those minutes are there, he's in a nut spot for him to kill it today. So I'm not going to overthink it. Next up, we have the Warriors against the Thunder. probably my least favorite game on the slate. The Warriors are pretty healthy. Al Horford is out. He'll play tomorrow. We've seen that show before. Tough matchup against the Thunder. Spread isn't overly close either at 7.5, but it's not 10, so we got to be thankful for that. Brandon, who's standing out for you for the Warriors, if anybody?
No one really. This is one of my least favorite teams tonight. However, especially with the news we just got with Curry not on a minutes limit, and then Madness kind of triggered something when he said we don't really have many pay-ups tonight. So Curry, that brings me to Curry. Probably just going to throw a 5% min on him. Don't really like this spot, but again, we don't have a lot of pay-ups, and he's definitely somebody where when his shot is falling, he has slate-breaking upside. So if it was a bigger slate, I probably would just leave him out, but with it being a 5-gamer, just have some exposure there, and I probably won't be playing anyone else.
Yeah.
Kuminga at 8K is just crazy, too. I know he's been playing well, but I just noticed that.
The nice thing about Curry, too, is Lou Dort is out for the Thunder. So it just makes matchups a little bit better for everybody, but the Thunder are still a good defensive team. What are your thoughts here, Madness? Anyone stand out for you here?
Yeah, I'm not getting anything from the Warriors side.
Fair. Fair.
The prices, I can see getting a splash of Curry just because we know what he can do. But
just a little sprinkle, 5%, nothing too crazy. A lot of y'all know I absolutely hate seeing the Thunder on a slate. I don't know. Maybe I'm just jealous, but we'll see. Next up, we have the Thunder side of this game going up against the Warriors. The Thunder, I already touched on it. They are without Lou Dort. They have some more injuries too. Let me see what we're looking at. Jalen Williams is still out. Kenrich Williams, Aaron Wiggins, they're all out as well. But it's really Lou Dort that actually moves the needle a little bit here. Madness, do you like these guys a little bit more than the Warriors side?
It's hard to like them less, but not really is the short answer. I'm getting a little bit of Ajay Mitchell. He's just been great this season, especially without Wiggins and Dort. The minutes are going to be there for him. Price tag's up, but it's warranted at this point. And then I think the only other guy is just going to be Shea for the same reason we touched on. There's not much spend ups, and Curry's just too small. I don't really look at one-on-one matchups in the NBA all that often, and he's not going to get Curry anyway. So disregard it. No, it's Ajay Mitchell and SGA. So that's about it.
It's a little gross out there. What about you, Brandon? You like it a little bit more?
Yeah, Mitchell is probably my favorite play on this team. He's just been super consistent, even like playing beside SGA and Chet, who are the higher usage guys. He's still doing his thing. So I have a 20% min on him, and the DS is actually giving me 39% right now. So I definitely love him as a leverage play tonight. Still priced decently too for how he's playing. Threw a 10% min on SGA as well, just due to the upside there. It's hard not to have any exposure to somebody like him on this small slate. And then I say it all the time, I love attacking this Golden State front court. They're a bit smaller down low, so I will be playing Isaiah and Chet. I have a 10% min on Isaiah and a 5% min on Chet. So.
Well, I was going to say get out of my head because I thought we were doing the exact same thing, but we're a little different here. 10% min on SGA. Y'all talked about that enough. I have a 10% min on Chet. Like you said, I like picking on this front court, and Chet can be explosive, man, especially in matchups that are a little bit softer. And so I have a 10% min on him, leverage play there, and then 10% min on Isaiah Hartenstein, really just kind of matching the field there, though, nothing special. And then Mitchell, he shows up in 27% of my lineups. I didn't do anything to him. I feel like he's priced appropriately, so I'm pretty indifferent, but it looks like he's a solid lineup filler and more lineups than not. Next up, last game on this slate, hammer game. We have another close spread, which are pretty few and far between. two really bad teams. Pacers going up against the Jazz. You can call it a shitter bowl in some ways. But for Indiana tonight, they are missing Bennett Mathurin, TJ McConnell. Should be returning. He's questionable. Furphy's out. No, a lot of these names don't even matter. They're missing a lot of guys. Brandon, who do you like here? I know you have to like a decent amount of guys.
I tried to like this team, but I really couldn't get there, especially with it being against Utah. I will say I like Nembhard quite a bit. Both games he's played in since coming back from his injury, he's played at least 30 minutes and has scored at least 30 points in both of those. They both have been blowouts too, so I'm curious to see what he can do in a closer game. So hopefully this one will turn out as close as the spread suggests. But I do like him for how he's been playing since coming back. Thought about Siakam, but I don't think I can do him at 9,800. I know we keep saying there's not many spend ups, but I just don't like that price on him, especially when we have Cat at 9,800 cheaper. So couldn't get there. And I'm never really a fan of any of these other guys. Normally when they're cheaper than they are, I don't mind it. But yeah, overall outside of Nembhard, I'm not really on this team.
Madness, do you like him a little bit more?
This is the game for me.
Yeah,
it's a turd bowl, but I love it. I mean, two bad teams, two reasonably fast teams who don't play any defense. I think we get a shootout here. As B-Dub said, Andrew Nembhard is one of my favorite plays on the slate.
Yep.
He's going to be a core play for me. He's just a different guy without Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah, night and day.
Yeah. I mean, and he just returned 2 games ago, and we've seen that. I think last season, I got it up here somewhere, 23% usage rate and around a fantasy point per minute. I think we're under projecting his minutes a little bit. I think he sees 35 to 40 minutes in this one. Just love Nembhard. Siakam, not as much love, but I do like getting to Siakam. Good matchup here against the likes of Markkanen and Yusuf Nurkic.
Who?
Throw Nurkic at me. I don't care. Siakam looks good. He's getting a lot of ball handling and assist equity in this team without Halliburton. Do like Neesmith as well. Just going to play a ton of minutes. Lockdown D, 3-and-D guy. Love Neesmith. Not as much as Nembhard. I don't love the price tag on Neesmith, but going to give him a little bump just to get some exposure. Jarris Walker's too expensive now. No interest there. One guy I could see, I don't think we have TJ McConnell news yet.
Not yet.
If he is out, Monte Morris becomes slightly interesting as a turd. 20 minutes last time out. You could do worse. I'll put it that way.
You could.
Not a guy I'm forcing by any means, but I'll have some exposure.
Yeah, like if news breaks a certain way. I get it. I'm with you. I like this team a good bit. I mean, not as much as like the Knicks or some of the other guys, but I have a 10% min on Siakam. I think he's a better play on FanDuel where he's a bit cheaper, but 9,800, one of the softest matchups you can get. I want some exposure, so I'm hoping the 10% min can hold enough weight. Nesmith, similar story. I think he's priced appropriately, so I don't think I'm getting a ton of value here, so I'm not going to force myself to be over the field, but I just want to have him in the mix. So I have a 5% min on him there. And then 35% min on Nembhard. I am kind of forcing him into being a leverage play, but I really just kind of like you guys have talked about, just is a really good spot for him. Great matchup. He's the guy outside of Siakam, but honestly, he's been a little bit more consistent. So I like Nembhard at this price tag. And then I have a 5% min on TJ McConnell. It's getting a little cute, to be honest, but he does have 6x upside here when he sees like roughly 20 or more minutes. It's his first game back, so we're praying and crossing everything for 20 minutes. But I do like this spot enough where I'm willing to risk it. I think a 3% min is probably a bit more appropriate. Let me think about it a little bit more. Yeah, I think a 3% min is probably a bit more appropriate than 5, especially since I'm running 150 lineups. So that gives me the number I want. But the big priority here is Nembhard. Nembhard is the lesson of the day for the Pacers. The other side of this game, we are seeing a lot of, and a lot of our lineups, whether you want it or not, you are getting the Jazz tonight. When it comes to injury news for Utah, Taylor Hendricks is out, Kyle Anderson is out, Kevin Love is out, Niang is out, Kessler is out still. Madness, who I should ask who you're not playing, but I want who all are you seeing show up?
So yeah, as much as I love the Pacers, I love the Jazz even more.
Yeah.
Except for one of the chalky pieces, I like going under on Nurkic.
I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean his price has caught up to him. He's drawn a ton of ownership. I just think we can get different in that price range. I don't think he kills us by going a different route. So he's a guy I'm going to be under on. The rest of this team, I'm probably just going to be overweight. Filipowski, without Kevin Love, it seems dumb, but he's going to see some backup 5 run, and he's been great as a 5 this season, at least from a DFS perspective. So love the price tag on him. Ace Bailey, he got the start last time out over Collier. I would expect that again in this one. And if he's going to start, played 28 minutes last time out at 4,300 against the Pacers. He's probably going to be volatile until he kind of gets his feet under him, but he's just going to be a guy I play at 4,300 if he's starting. Fine with whatever marketing I get. Keontae George is another guy I'll be overweight on. I think the move to Collier to the bench is significant for George. He opens up the assist equity for him, and we saw that last time out. What did George get? So 6 assists. The assist equity was still there. I think his potential assists were still in double digits. He's been an assist machine this season, so I like Keontae George. I feel like I had one more play, but maybe not. So yeah, I mean Filipowski, Ace Bailey, Keontae George, a little bit less on Markkanen, and then I'm going to go underweight on Nurkic.
Okay. Hey, like I said, when people say stuff with their chest, I just love it. Like I just love it when people take stands because I don't do that as often as I would like. At least when it comes to not playing someone. What about you? B-Dubs, where are you at here?
Yeah, Madness, I agree with you. I was like battling that since starting this slate. Another thing to throw in that scenario too is like I just think about the pace that this game is going to be, and Nurk just doesn't fit that pace, especially since I'm going so heavy on Filipowski. It just kind of makes more sense to go under on Nurk, especially at 6,100. So I might join you on that. I'm not sure where exactly I want to go. I might do like 20% or something like that. So I'll play around with that, but definitely love that fade call there. Filipowski, like you said, no love. Hendricks is out too. I know he didn't play that well last time out, but this matchup is way better than last game, and he's only 4K and should play a ton of minutes tonight. So he will be a core play for me tonight. Ace Bailey, I know a lot of people are worried about him, but kind of like you said, Manis, as long as he starts and continues to see an increase in his minutes, I'm all for it at 4,300. I think one of the main reasons why we haven't really seen him do anything yet this season is just the lack of minutes he's seen. He's kind of been banged up all year too, even before the year, like he barely played in the summer league. So I think he's finally getting to a point where he can start taking on more of a role on this team. So definitely not going to hate playing him tonight. Let me see where he's at. 21%. I might just throw a 30% min on him. Just again, because we love this matchup so much. Keontae, I've always been a fan of him. I still love his price, 7,100. He's just doing so much for this team right now and has been very, very consistent. So I didn't have to do anything there. He's kind of popping naturally at 33%. And then Markkanen, he scares me with how up and down he is.
Yeah.
But again, we love this game. So I have a 15% min on him because he does have 60-point upside. So want him in this spot at 8K, and that's about it for me.
Yeah, no, I'm with y'all here. I have a 20% min on Laurie Markkinen, so I'll be over the field there. Again, I don't know how many different ways we can say I really just like this game, and so I'm forcing exposure to it. I'm not worried about the matchup for anyone here. Keontae George, I have a 30% min on him, forcing myself to be over the field in a plus matchup. Nurkic, I do have a 30% min on. I am not fading him, but he's not going to show up in like 80, 90% of my lineups. Right now, he's in 52% of my lines, and I'm okay with that. Really, my exposures are pretty balanced this slate. I don't really have anyone over 60%, which is relatively rare for me. But as long as I'm seeing everyone I like show up, I don't really overthink percentages. And so that's kind of why sometimes people are like, do you have to force a certain min? For me, no, but I have seen it work well for other people. And so that's the 30% min there. I have a 30% min on Ace Bailey. Like you all mentioned, I like him a good amount on this slate. He's showing up in 35% of my lineups with that min on there. And at his price tag, I'm not overly concerned with it. I mean, Will Hardy's their coach. He can be a bit of a stickler. If you make a lot of mistakes out there, he'll yank you off the court. And so as long as Ace Bailey's not a fool, he should be fine. And they're missing enough bodies where, again, I'm not going to overthink that one. And I'm with y'all. I like Filipowski a lot this slate. I have a 35% min on him. And then I have a silly, for the Millie, 2% min on Bryce Sensabaugh, just in case he sees a little bit more run with some of the guys they have out. So, yeah, that's the slate. We ran through it, guys. We still have a little bit of time left. Slate doesn't lock until 7:30. So we'll definitely get to some of these questions that you all had. But in general, like after we ran through it, I do feel like I have a little bit of a better grip on the approach and kind of the strategy here. Darius said, yo, can we expect to see this trio more often this season? I think, Madness, are you free tomorrow? You should see us tomorrow, I think.
Maybe.
Okay, TBD. That's the thing, Darius. It all comes down to scheduling. When schedules and timing aligns, we will try to make this happen. If not, it won't happen. It's just the way it is. Dixon said, can our benevolent three hosts please give us one player each that they think can score 3+ points in the first 3 minutes of their game? I got nothing for you, Dixon, man. I'm sorry. I don't know, Brandon or Madness, if y'all want to give something here.
MPJ.
Okay. You haven't won, Brandon?
Yeah. No one that comes to mind. I'll defer to Madness on that too. MPJ. I'll go with him.
I see some of the new questions coming. I'm just going to do a double check right quick on some of the questions we got earlier in the show. Madness, do you have a take on this? King of the court, points, rebounds, assist.
Let's see. I like to get away from the popular answer is going to be SGA. You do that, you're going to chop with everybody. So I like to go down a little bit. Siakam or Towns, I think they're reasonable spots.
Fair. Let's see. Jesse said, any love for Jordan Clarkson? He's getting a lot of second half run the last couple of games. Brandon, do you give Clarkson any thought?
I did actually, especially with Mitch out and against Memphis. He hasn't been good at all this season, but he is 3,400 and plays close to 20 minutes and only needs 20 points to pay that price off. So I wouldn't play him in single entry, but if you're doing 150, I definitely don't mind the shot there.
Yeah. What about you, Madness? Any interest in Clarkson?
Yeah, I'm all right with it. I don't think the minute ceiling isn't really there for him to have a monster game, but he can get you 20, 25 fantasy points.
Yeah. Looks like he's showing up in 1% of my lineups. Shamit is also showing up in 1% of my lines. I think people are expecting Shamit to start here, so we'll see, but not a priority for me at the end of the day. JP83 said, quickly or Nimbard? Madness, where are you at here? I'm going to go Nimbard.
I was going to say, I think we're all Nimbard.
Yeah, it's close. I understand the question, though. Like, that is a tough one. Okay. And I don't. Okay. Big Fly said, hello, thoughts on Philadelphia bigs? Is Watford a better value than Drummond? Is Bona in play? Brandon, what are your thoughts?
I'll have some Wofford, but no way is he better than Drummond. Drummond clearly has the higher upside out of all three of those guys. Like I said, as long as he sees the minutes, he should smash here, knock on wood. So yeah, he's easy choice for me.
Yep. And then Craig said, who's your highest owned 2 players, please? Craig, I'm only allowing this because I like you, and I know you're a DFS Army member. If you weren't, I would say just look at the core. But Madness, where are you at here?
Andrew Nemhard and Kyle Filipowski.
Ooh, I like it. All right, Brandon.
Filipowski and Drummond.
All right. For me, it's Filipowski and Nurkic. Drummond's right there, though.
Ace Bailey's quickly climbing my ranks.
Uh-oh. Coming up. And then, Buckeye, I saw your point. You said I like it when y'all talk about guys you're not high on. Well, you got it. You got it first and foremost with Madness and B-Dub. They were calling it out. Let's see here. Who would y'all like on DraftKings, OG or Hart?
OG.
OG. Brandon, what about you?
OG.
Yeah.
Wait, did you say OG originally, or was that Madness?
Yeah.
Oh. Madness, are you OG too?
Yeah, I mean, they're different prices, but yeah. OG is just the better play.
Okay. And then Shane said, is there a certain position you try to keep out of the util spot? Brandon, where are you at there?
No.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, I never love the small forward position, so I'll say that, but not really. What about you, Madness?
Yeah, it's slate dependent. I mean, wherever the value is kind of what you're going to use. You're normally going to see like a center or a guard in there just because a lot of point guards have only point guard eligibility. You lock up all your guard spots. And obviously with center, you only get the one center spot. So it's slate dependent, but not really looking to avoid any certain position.
Okay. And then OG and Rick's questions are relatively close to being the same thing. OG said, who's the lower owned must play for y'all? We'll start with Madness. Okay, Madness, I guess you're first. Rick then said, can we get a play of the night from each one of you guys? So I think we can kind of merge those between like who's a lower owned must play and who's your play of the night. So maybe 2 if you have 2 different people.
What are we considering lower owned here?
I always think like anything below 10% is pretty low owned.
Below 10%, give me woof.
Yeah, I'm going to cheat on mine.
Go ahead. You can cheat. It's okay.
Yeah, I was about to say mine is at 11 and 12%. I'll give you 2 guys since I love you, OG. Cedric Howard and AJ Mitchell.
Coward.
I'll stick with the Grizzlies. I like Coward and then Santi Aldama.
Damn, okay. Y'all did not go where I thought you were going. For me, just one of my favorite low-owned plays is BJ Edgecombe. I really like that play at 6,900. And then I don't have a must play, but the closest thing to it for me is Nembhard. He's someone I'm thinking about just forcing into being a core play, even though he's not right now. So we will see what happens there. Last 2 in, Keontae and Hart or Quickly and OG? Brandon, what's your answer to this one?
Probably that's a tough one. That's really close. Because I love Keontae. I mean, I don't mind Hart, but I don't like him as much as that second side. So probably the second side, just because I like both of those guys.
Yeah, I'm not going to help you, but I would have gone the first side. Uncle Cheese said Aldama or Hart. Madness, where are you at here?
I'll go Aldama.
Okay.
Aldama for me, too.
Nice. Buckeye said, I'm getting 10% of Clarkson and 20 max. Wasn't forcing it either. Honestly, I would probably cap him at 5. That's what I would do. But what do you think, Brandon?
I wouldn't mind it, I guess. Because like I said, I could see a world where he gets at least 20 points in this spot. So
fair. Different strokes for different folks. Mo said 3 single entry top plays on DK. This time, Mo, I will say core plays. Buckeyes, who's a good core for single entry with a lower owned guy to build around?
It'll be posted soon.
Yeah. Again, once we get to like 7:05, core plays will be posted. And that's usually the way you can kind of build around your single entries. I usually, at least for my core plays, say like if I post 4, like choose 3 of the 4 because usually one of them ends up failing. But Brandon, Madness, I think both of you kind of put your core plays as who are going to be in your single entry lineups. Is that right?
Yeah.
For the most part, sometimes I'll switch it up if I'm trying to get like super different.
Yeah. And because I know you're in the chat too, so you can always ask around too. Craig said, do you cap ownership percentages for NBA? No. It's a bit more about just kind of making sure I see the guys I want to see. And then if there's someone like the team doesn't like, then I might lower or put an exposure maximum on them. But it's not as formulaic as football is, at least when it comes to using the DS. Thoughts on Bailey versus Simons? Madness, you're the Simons guy now. What's your thought?
That's a tough question. I'm going to say Ace Bailey just because I'm getting a bunch of him now. I just don't. So I'll say if you're in GPPs, go Simons.
Yep.
If you need to go single entry or cash, go Bailey.
Yeah.
I like them both.
Yeah, that's what I'm at too. Like Simons is more of a leverage play, whereas Bailey is someone that's going to be in lineups and you can kind of build around. Any love for Jock Landale? Brandon, any interest there?
Not really.
Okay. Same. Ted said Brandon Ingram and Clowney or MPJ and Murray Boyles. Madness, where are you at here?
I don't really want to play Murray Boyles.
Yeah.
Not with Poto bet.
Yeah. He's not very good at basketball.
It's awkward.
Yeah, definitely that first because Murray Boyles is hard to get to tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I actually just like the first side, like Brandon Ingram and Clowney. Like I like that. Alan said Claxton, Nurk, or Drummond. Brandon, where are you?
Drum Dog.
Yep. Final question here: Ace Bailey or we already answered that. So sweet. All right. Appreciate everyone for sticking out with us. If you have any more questions, we will be in the DFS Army Discord, so feel free to reach out, or you can also DM us. Like we said, last night was pretty good. Hopefully we can keep that run going. We'll see you all tomorrow. Hopefully all 3. If not, Brandon and I will be here. Good luck tonight. Peace out. Bye.